To this week's episode of Jet Lag in the News. I'm Steve Jasper, aka the Jet Lag Guy. A lot has happened in the area of business travel this week, so let's get started. In business, let's start off with the Airbus A320 is being recalled for software correction after a JetBlue flight from Cancun in Mexico to Newark, just out of New York, made a sudden drop in altitude. Several passengers were injured back on the 30th of October. Within Australia, jet lag was particularly affected by the cancellations. In the period leading up to Christmas, this could be crucial. On Saturday, 90 Jetstar flights were affected, and that rolled over into Sunday. The areas that will be most impacted by this recall are Asia and South America. US Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has said that this is unlikely to have significant impact on American flights. The latest report from Coherent Market Insights values the global jet lag market in 2025 as US $471.4 million and is expected to increase to US $616.1 million by 2032. I'll have some of that, please. Emirates is now flying direct flights between Adelaide and Dubai, which will be wonderful for travellers based in Adelaide. Travellers can fly from Dubai to destinations in the Middle East, Europe or Africa. This will be a lot better than flying out to Sydney or Melbourne and looping back. This will save many hours of travelling time for Adelaide people. Amsterdam Schiphol Airport will build a new terminal to create, quote, more space and better accessibility at this key European hub. This is a long-term strategy for the year 2050. Corporate Travel Management in the UK, an Australian-based company, they're under pressure after the company admitted it owes £80 million, or $162 million in Australian, to customers in the United Kingdom who are overcharged. The refunds could result in, quote, significant cash impacts. AI is causing headaches in terms of fraud, with very realistic-looking receipts and documents resulting in fraudulent claims. These AI-generated documents look very realistic, so increased verification methods and blockchain are the tools to prevent this. Big news out of Saudi Arabia. In Australia, we struggle with more than 2 airlines, but Saudi Arabia is launching 3 new airlines on top of the ones they already have. The 3 airlines are first, a low-cost carrier based in Dammam, second, a religious tourism-focused airline based in Medina for pilgrims attending religious events such as the Hajj, and a third which doesn't have many specific details as yet. This does demonstrate that the Saudi government is committed to boosting its infrastructure and tourism. US Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has some opinions about flying, and the internet has opinions about his opinions. Here are my opinions for what they're worth. Firstly, he doesn't like pyjamas on planes. I'm not a huge fan of pyjamas on planes, but honestly, it's not a hill I would die on. Pyjamas are loose and baggy, and this might help prevent deep vein thrombosis, so I'm okay with pyjamas on planes. Mr. Duffy also wants to see healthy snacks on plane, saying it would be much better, quote, if I didn't get the really fattening cookie full of butter, sugar and crap, or that little snack full of pretzels. Mr. Duffy, I am with you 100% on this issue. If you have a spare $80 million US sitting in your coin jar, hi Gina, this one's for you, then you can get yourself an Airbus A320, your own private jet. It won't eradicate jet lag, but to quote Enes Yilmaz, who took us on a virtual tour of the plane, quote, it doesn't feel like you're on a plane. You're actually on land. The food tastes better, you don't really feel jet lag, and the overall experience is better. Now you know what I'd like for Christmas. Thanks. Now let's look at some research that's come. Out of Turkey, more research, and I wonder if Turkey is now a major centre for circadian rhythm research. Research done in rats found that high-intensity internal interval training and low-dose caffeine help with social jet lag. The researchers also found that male rats were more susceptible to decreased working memory due to social jet lag. In Brazil, social jet lag was examined in a retrospective study with 1,042 participants and found that among other things that later chronotypes that is, night owls, were particularly susceptible to social jet lag. 52 US female tennis players wore a sleep tracker when they were travelling and competing on the Women's Tennis Association Tour. Eastbound flights were found to be particularly disruptive, which is not surprising. Quote, the findings suggest that professional tennis players should, and generally do, arrive at competition locations with enough time to resynchronize their circadian rhythm to the destination time zone, particularly if travelling eastward. 7 days, 7 continents, 7 marathons. Is this insane? No, this is commitment. Bobby White from Clydebank lost his brother at the age of 15, so he is running these marathons to support the Glasgow Children's Hospital charity. Here's the QR code and a link if you'd like to support him in that effort. And from the Jetlag Guy headquarters, we wish you the best of luck in that marathon, Bobby. Finally, here at the Jetlag Guy headquarters, we ask the big questions. Does Santa Claus get jet lag? He does circumnavigate the world in 24 hours, delivering good presents to good children and coal to the naughty ones. Well, we have an answer. Not much, because he travels at night. There is no daylight disrupting his circadian rhythm. However, here is a critical factor. Christmas tree lighting. Christmas trees are traditionally decorated in red and gold, which are circadian rhythm friendly colours. Have you ever seen a Christmas tree with blue lights and thought, that's a little off? Blue lights disturb Santa Claus's circadian rhythm. So stick with tradition, decorate your Christmas trees in red and gold, and support Santa's circadian rhythm. If you have any questions or want to know more about what I do, check out my website at www.jetlagguy.com.au. There's another book on the way, and you'll be the first to know when it's released. And that's this week's Jet Lag in the News. I'm Steve Jasper, aka the Jet Lag Guy. Thank you for watching.